Rights to freedom is dead. We're coming to get our check.
Hey, how you doing? Hold on, Dark. I do not really go live on Instagram, but there's something that I wanted to talk about that I saw that really disturbed. It really bothered me. Okay, and I don't see enough people really talking about it the way I want to. I'd like to. So hold on, let me see. Okay, so how's everybody doing? Hold on, let me see something. Can I pin it? Can I pin something? Okay, pin it. All right, this is the topic. Let me see. I don't know if you guys, because I know Instagram has changed their thing. Let me see. Instagram's changed their thing where you used to be able to like put a picture up, but you can't. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you what we're going to be discussing, because I saw this earlier. Right, hold on. Let me flip the camera. Look at this, y'all. Okay. So I don't know if you guys, this was on my story earlier today, and I wanted to talk about it. I didn't know if I wanted to do a YouTube live on it. I decided to do an Instagram live on it since I posted it on Instagram, and I feel like I wanted to talk about Instagram, right? So this is supposed to be kind of like a wildin' out version. This is Bad versus Wild. This is like a new brand thing of Wildin' Out. So they're having a whole bunch. Now this is supposed to be like an all female version of Wildin' Out. I'm just now hearing about this. I did not know about this. All right. It says, hold on, pin. I don't know how. I thought I did pin it. I thought I did pin the topic. I thought I did pin the topic. Did I pin it? Let me see. Because I do want to pin comment. Okay, it's pinned. Okay, there we go. So yeah, and yep, Nick Cannon is a part of this. So I want to talk about this because I think that this needs to be discussed. All right. Okay. Yep, Suki Hana's going to be performing. So looking at this situation, right? Hold on. I gotta clean that shit. Looking at that, right? I'm glad, I will say this, I am glad that a lot of people are calling that out, because that needs to be called out. What happens with that type of stuff, if that stuff was allowed to go on without being called out, that type of stuff would cause a bunch of conflict. Light skin, dark skin conflict in the community that does not need to happen, all right? We're moving kind of, I'm not going to say colorism is a thing of the past. It's not. I'm not saying that. But we're progressing consciously past that so much where we're collectively, light skin, dark skin, brown skin, everybody in the middle, every shade is looking at that and looked at this and was like, who came up with this idea? That's a terrible idea. And what happens, and why I wanted to talk about this, is because we often in the community, hold on, my computer went out. We often in the community, we wind up having the same type of problems, the same type of conversations. And we're like, how can we not progress in the community? Hold on. And that's because, let me put this on. That's because people engineer stuff like that to happen. Let me show you guys this. So you guys know, this was actually Nick Cannon's idea. Now this, Nick Cannon doesn't own the I guess the brand or whatever the case is, but this was his idea. Let me show you. Let me bring this up, because I was doing some research on this before. Hold on. Let me see.
Going on in the black community. Okay. Zeus Network feels like a dark skin versus light skin roasting competition that's good for the year.
Let me pull it up. Hold on.
Everything. That's his idea. Let me show you.
That's why we put verses right in the middle. We talking about everything. Everything that could collide, we gonna see. We going natural versus BBL. We going light, dark skin. We going East Coast versus West Coast.
Nick Cannon is a fertile imbecile.
So he says, we're doing, he said we're doing natural versus BBL. We're doing light skin versus dark skin. We're doing East Coast versus West Coast. So this is like a Wild 'N Out style. And if you guys know about the Wild 'N Out show, what they do is they have one team and another team, and both of the teams are in competition. So they play various different types of games. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody has seen a clip of Wild 'N Out. They understand how Wild 'N Out gets down, right? Everybody's seen that, right? Hold on, let me change the camera back. Okay. Everybody's seen that, so everybody knows how that happens. So with that, what they were originally planning on doing was to have a light skin versus dark skin thing, and then at the end, you guys know how in Wild 'N Out, at the end, everybody does a thing where now it's just a roasting session. At first, and the first things with the way Wild 'N Out goes, and the first things is that, they play different types of games and stuff like that. And then later on, they have a roasting session. So the way that was supposed to be set up is you're going to have a whole bunch of dark-skinned women and light-skinned women jabbing at each other about each other's skin tone. That's the way that was going to get set up. Now, I'm saying this to say, a lot of times in the black community, we tend to have these same type of problems going on because we have people who instigate stuff like this. Nick Cannon, especially, and I'm very disappointed in him for this, because a few years ago, before his whole thing with I don't want to really say that community, but before his thing with that community went down, Nick Cannon used to pretend to be conscious. He used to be wearing like the Pan-African colors and all that stuff. He used to be on the conscious side. Then next thing you know, he gets into it with a certain community. All consciousness is gone. It's gone. He don't need, the small hats, exactly. Ever since he started getting into it, he didn't even really get into it with him. He said something on his podcast, and I forgot even who he was saying it to. But he said something on his podcast about black people being Israel's, okay? Which some of them in their community, some of them will admit to. So it's not like that's a lie, but it was deemed anti-Semitic. Nick Cannon went around doing a whole bunch of apologizing. Then next thing you know, all of his consciousness is gone. It is gone. You have not in years since seen Nick Cannon do anything, say anything, promote anything that was conscious whatsoever. All right. Now, instead of being conscious and trying to, Professor Griff, thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Griff. Now, instead of being conscious, now what Nick Cannon is doing is he's going to amplify issues that we already have in the community, okay? That we're already trying to consciously overcome, generational trauma and stuff like that, that we're already trying to consciously overcome. Because colorism stems from white supremacy, okay? Colorism is a derivative of white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? And he understands, and especially him as like Foundation Black American, we understand that colorism has plagued the community a lot. Colorism has plagued the community because what they'll do is they'll try to create a sense of tension within the black community, because we have a lot of different skin tones and stuff like that. So they'll like mistreat the dark skinned ones, and they'll give false, and I'm saying false, they'll give false elevation to lighter skin folks. And they do it a lot with the women too. Colorism works a little bit differently with the men and the women. With the men, what they'll do is they'll make the dark-skinned men, they'll make them brutish, they'll make them criminal-like, they'll make them unintelligent. That's where you get the big, bald, dark-skinned dude who kind of does, they'll make him like that. With the light-skinned guys, they'll make them soft. They'll make him weak. They'll make him meek and timid and feminine. And then kind of the opposite with the women. With the dark-skinned women, you'll see stuff like the what's her name? Sexy Reds, right? You'll see the Sexy Reds, you'll see the Suki Hanas and stuff. They try to make the dark skin seem really like almost like animalistic. Primitive is a better word for it, right? They'll do that and make them seem primitive, right? And then with the light-skinned women, they'll be all like, well, they're lighter skin. They'll always have their hair pressed and straightened out, and they'll be more sophisticated and stuff like that. They'll be like, what's that? What is that one, like, fraternity thing? Like, I'm forgetting. I always get those fraternities and sororities and stuff like that mixed up. I always get that mixed up. So we have understood that this has been a thing that is engineered to be in the community, because it's not like we naturally are like this. We're not. The alphas, they always, I'm bad with that. I am. Because they'll be like the alphas and the betas and the kappas and the sigmas, and I don't know what none of that stuff means. I don't know what none of that means, right? I just bright this yellow as hell. It's like, so they'll do the AKAs and stuff like that, and the ones in charge of the AKAs, they'll always be like light skin, you know. So they do that stuff to engineer tension and disunity within the community. Okay. Nick Cannon used to try to promote black to a degree, to the degree that he would try to do things and promote black empowerment way before, when he got into it with the small hats. Stop all of the consciousness, all of it. Now he's doing things that he knows is going to create conflict within the community, whether the girls who are on stage, whether they all get along and everything like that afterward. The problem with that is he knows that when people watch that, next thing you know is going to be a bunch of think pieces. Next thing you know is going to be a bunch of blogs. Next thing you know is going to be a bunch of videos. It's going to be a bunch of stuff being all like, okay, well, hold on. Why did the light-skinned women win? Why did the dark-skinned women do this and do that? And y'all, it's going to be that. That's exactly what it was going to be. It was going to turn into that. Blogs were going to pick it up. It was going to be a whole bunch of, well, now that we on the subject, and then the subject was going to pop up because of what Nick Cannon was doing. All right. Let me show you something else. So they got drug on Twitter. I'm going to pull this back up. I hate the fact that my computer keeps closing so fast. My computer keeps closing so fast. So the person, I was looking up the owner of, let me see. I was looking up the owner of the Zeus Network. That's the network that's going to be, I guess that's the network that owns that's a new Nick Cannon show. So what he did, he tries to cover, hold on. He tries to cover that up with this. Let me see. I'm not good with this. I'm getting better. So he switches it up and he covers it up with chocolate goddesses versus caramel goddesses. Now this is the owner. This is the owner right here. His name is Leomold Palmer. And I was like, that don't fix nothing. And another thing, people are calling the cast out too, because on the light skin side, the cast, they like did some type of Photoshop editing, and they're making the light skinned women lighter. Like if you look at the light skinned women, you can see kind of like a flare or whatever the case is. But some of the women on the light skin side, specifically her, everybody calling her out specifically, she's darker than what she looks like right here. But they did some Photoshop thing, because I suppose they need an even amount of women on both sides. So they did a Photoshop thing. So on the light skin side, they like lightened them up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So now his whole thing is, because he don't want to scrap the show. It's supposed to be going on today. He doesn't want to scrap the show, so he's going to change it to, instead of light skin versus dark skin, chocolate goddesses versus caramel goddesses. That doesn't matter. At this point, the damage is done, really, at this point. You've already essentially told people, and you still got a bunch of people in the comment section. And this is, I am going to say, I'm glad that we're seeing this. Because you got a whole bunch of people from the comment section being all like, yeah, this really ain't gonna work. This really ain't gonna work. He needs to scrap this whole idea. This whole idea needs to be scrapped. You still got the same lineup. And to be honest, the reason why the idea needs to be scrapped is because the concept is still the same. Whether you change it to chocolate goddesses or caramel goddesses from light skin and dark skin, the underlying concept of the whole setup is the same. It's the same thing. You can reword the flyer, but it's really the same thing. And this is important for us to call out, because stuff like this, let me switch it back. Stuff like this doesn't happen in other communities. All right. People don't make marketing ploys off of hitting my camera is shaking a lot. Hold on. Let me hold my hand still. People don't make marketing ploys off of tensions and stuff like that going on in other communities. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't see we're going to have a Japanese versus a Chinese rap battle. You don't really see that. You don't see a mainstream publication or network trying to promote that. You know what I'm saying? They don't do that in like the Latin community. We're going to have a Puerto Rican versus Mexican. You don't really see that. You know what I'm saying? But that happens with us. And you're right, FBA's making colorist narratives not cool. That's some shit we need left in the foreground. Exactly. Okay. Now, when we were childish and didn't really know any better, that's what I'm saying. As our conscious minds grew, and we would, from the childish mentality of making fun of people because of our skin tone, and especially nowadays, because I think personally, we're as a community more conscious than we've been in a very, very long time, really since the days of the civil rights movement. Personally, maybe since the Black Panther movie, but we're socially more conscious of these things. We don't like perm our hair or anything like that. We're more conscious collectively of these things. What this is going to do is this is going to re-trigger certain things. This is going to reignite certain problems. So if we wonder why everything seems copacetic in the black community, everybody's getting along, everybody's, no infighting, no black man versus black woman, no light skin versus dark skin, no young versus old, everything is fine. And then all of a sudden, you got this, some celebrity get into it, and now we're having a whole bunch of think pieces on, damn, why is light skins like this? Why do dark skins like this? Like that type of stuff. This is the stuff that the white power structure promotes. So I was looking, man, I hate the fact that my thing, I wanted to show you guys something else real fast, because I got more videos to edit too. So my camera, I don't know why. Maybe it's a power saving thing I got on my phone, my computer, that makes it shut off so quickly. Shit, come on, hold on. Okay. Jeez. Okay, cool. So, my bad. So I was looking at, now I'm gonna show you, I'm still on his page, right? I'm still on his page. I'm looking, and then I exit it. This is his page. So I'm scrolling down. I guess he did an interview with The Breakfast. I don't know this guy. So y'all know, I have no idea who this guy is. This is my first time hearing this guy. Okay, but apparently it's a pretty big player or something like that. He got over 1 million things. So I'm looking and I'm like, I'm looking, was he raised by a white family or whatever the case is? What was this? What was this? And then I see something weird. I see this lady who just happens to have the same last name and him. So he makes this post or whatever. Of course, we're not going to mock the dead or whatever the case is. But then when I look down here, when he starts talking about it, this lady is named Beth. When I look at his thing with Beth, he says, Beth, well, I don't know why I got it. Beth, you are like a second mom / big sister to me. You've always pushed me to pursue my dreams and goals. You always help me down, because I gotta look at my camera to make sure it's even. You always gotta help me down when I have my back. I honestly wouldn't be here if it says I honestly wouldn't be where I am if you were not in my life. I'm completely heartbroken and devastated of your passing. You will always be loved and remembered. Miss you. Now, I'm not the type, I don't know who Beth is. This is my first time ever hearing about some lady named Beth. I don't know. And I'm not going to mock the dead. But, you know, for you to say that you, as a black person, that somebody else, that a white, she's clearly white or white Hispanic or something. She ain't black. That's all I know. She ain't black. That you view her as your the older sister / second mom. Your older sister / second mom. This isn't no close good friend you grew up with or whatever the case is. For you to refer to somebody as your second mother, your second parent / older sister, I'm like, oh, like, okay. So I'm looking at this stuff and I don't know what's going on. Now I looked I guess he got a fiance, she's black, so everything else, he wasn't adopted by white family or whatever. It's just that one lady. I'm like, oh, it's just sticking out to me because that's weird. That's odd. It's very odd because it's not like he was adopted by a white family. It's not like he got a white girlfriend. So where is this one white lady that played such a significant role in your life? Where is she coming from? I don't know. That's weird to me. That's weird to me. Okay. Now, from what I'm hearing, the whole show is kind of trashy. The whole show is about really women kind of like just, I guess, going back and forth. I've never heard of the show. I've never heard of this. This is my first time ever hearing of this. And I'm going to be honest with you. If I was to list the people who I would put like on the, I don't want to like promote violence. If I was to list the people, I would put on like a chopping block for this, or put on a summer jam screen for this. Number one, definitely number one is Nick Cannon. This is Nick Cannon, okay? Because what is Nick Cannon doing? Okay? Nick Cannon, I'm gonna be honest, Nick Cannon is never gonna beat those colorist allegations. He can forget about it. He is never ever going to beat them colorist allegations. He can forget about it, okay? I'm disappointed. Now, I was told, because I made some videos about Nick Cannon and how Nick Cannon just completely shifted years ago. I was told that I was being too hard on Nick Cannon. And I'm all like, if you're really about black empowerment and black consciousness, you losing a deal or program, a television show, that's not going to make you change your ideology. If this is your true ideology and it's not just a facade, it's not just a costume, it's not just something that you say because you know people are going to, you know, gravitate to that. If it's something you believe in, you're not going to lose that because you lost a TV show or whatever the case is. So for the fact that his consciousness just like vanished out of thin air because of him getting into it with the small hat community, I know, like, you know what, everything about Nick is fake. That's the way I was looking at it. Okay, and I used to say that. I used to be like, Nick is fake. Nick is fake. And be like, no, man, give Nick a chance. Give Nick a chance. Don't beat up on Nick. And I eased up. Now Nick is back at it again. He's back at it again. And this was his idea. He wanted to do, we'll do light skin versus dark skin, this coast versus that coast, this coast versus that coast. What was wrong? What was wrong with the red team versus blue team, or whatever he had, gold team versus platinum team, whatever that was? What was wrong with that? That was cool. If he wanted to do a female version of Wild 'N Out, well, even though females were on Wild 'N Out, let's be honest, but if he wanted to do an all-female cast of Wild 'N Out, an all-female version of Wild 'N Out, what was wrong with the gold team versus platinum team? Why couldn't you stick to that? Why couldn't you stick to the red versus blue? Why couldn't you stick to that? What he's doing this because he knows there are certain, especially when it comes to like physical appearances and stuff like that, that a lot of black women have conflict with, that has been engineered, like I was saying before, they have conflict with. And he knows he's going to be able to push a button to get a rouse out of people. You know, that's his whole thing. Because if he was just trying to do entertainment, we've been watching Wild 'N Out for years now. Okay, and it was always a color team like red, blue, gold, whatever, versus this other team. And it was never a problem. It was never no New York versus Chicago. It was never no light skin versus dark skin, tall versus short, young versus old. It was never that. And that worked perfectly fine. So why all of a sudden are you doing that now? With a new show with an all-female cast. He's doing that because he knows it's going to cause conflict. He knows that. Is going to be a problem. He said, I'm going to start reading some of y'all comments. I know y'all been really making a lot of stuff in the chat. It says, Nick had another game with Kevin Hart. He did. I didn't know that. Wanted to know who wants to be the next baby mama. Who wants to be the next baby mama? Nick Cannon is promoting degeneracy at this point. I didn't even know about that show with Kevin Hart. This is my first time hearing about that. Okay, I didn't know that. But who wanted to be the? Let me ask you a question. Does any other community do stuff like this? If Nick Cannon was Hispanic, we're gonna have to be very honest. If Nick Cannon was Mexican, do you think he would be having a show Who Wants to Be the Next Cartel member? Do you think he would be having that? Do you think he would be having Who Wants to Be the Next Anchor Baby? Right? Would he be having that? No. Would he be, if this was any other community, would they be promoting the negative stereotypes? Because all of that stuff is negative stereotypes. Would they be promoting and advertising and using the negative stereotypes of their community to promote some type of entertainment or show or something? They would not be doing that. They would not be doing that. They wouldn't. Okay? He's doing this on purpose. Now, some of the people are calling out some of the women who agreed to this. Like, let's be very, very honest. We all know I'm not surprised to any degree that Sukihana is a part of this. She's actually the only woman I know. She's the only person, when I look at the list, she's the only person I recognize. Apparently, they're all from, like, TV shows or something, which I don't know, because this is my first time seeing them. But apparently, like Sukihana, you know what I'm saying? We have to understand that these people get platforms because they promote a stereotype. They promote a negative narrative in the community. We have to understand that Sukihana does that. So, of course, it's a no-brainer that she would sign on to this. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. And a lot of people were calling them out because there was, I guess, regulars on the show there's regulars on the show, like light skin and dark skin, who didn't want to be a part of this. So the women who are on that list, to my understanding, the women who are on that list agreed to be on that list. They thought it was cool. They thought it was funny. And the problem is that, like I said, this is going to cause a lot of conflict, okay? Yeah. Like, let me see. He says, the days of having MJ or Prince are over. Exactly. MJ and Prince are over. Ice Cube was the last hope in my mind, but he decided to pull a heel turn. Yeah, he did. I'm not gonna lie. He did. I was disappointed in him for that. And notice too, this is something on a YouTube thing I did when I had an interview. Notice how the only in the black community, specifically foundational black Americans, right? Well, it's flipped. Okay. But specifically FBA, right? But this goes even just black period, because this happens in Africa too. Notice how the white power structure, because that's who's all in control of this. Notice how we're the only people who's like deliberately pent up against each other. We're always pent up against each other. It's always well, you gotta either be on Michael Jackson or Prince. It's either of the two. You can't like both of them as an artist. You gotta pick one. And then when you pick one, you gotta diss the other one. You know what I'm saying? I saw a clip of that. Somebody's all like, no, Prince was way better than Michael Jackson. And if that's your opinion, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I mean, your taste is your taste. You're not wrong for that. That's fine. But then the person started digging at Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson couldn't do this. He couldn't do this. He couldn't do this. And then people in the comments like, whoa, why are you coming for Michael Jackson? Because you're trying to start something. Because you can easily say, these are the reasons why I personally like Prince more than Michael Jackson. Okay, that's your opinion and you're entitled to it. But when you start digging at somebody else, then that becomes a thing where it starts conflict. And that's what the dominant society promotes. That's why they used to do the thing of Malcolm X versus Martin Luther King. And that was a big thing for the longest time. And they've divided a lot of the community. They were able to. They're not really able to do that anymore because we kind of reshaped the image of those two men. But they were able to do that. They were all like, well, Malcolm X was kind of like a radical, you know what I'm saying? And Dr. King was only on peace. He was the turn the other cheek type person. And you absolutely have to be on one side or the other. You can't agree with both. You got to pick one. All right. They do that with us to stir and keep conflict resonating within the community. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. Another one, Whitney versus Mariah. You can like them both. You can like them both. Even if you have a favorite, that's fine. But you can like them both. But they're constantly doing that with us. Notice in the white community, you don't really see them trying to, is it Justin Bieber or Justin Timberlake? You got to pick one. You can't like them both. They don't really do that. Is it Taylor Swift or Miley Cyrus? You got to pick both. You got to pick one. You can't pick. They don't really do that. Tupac and Biggie. See, that's a good one. That's another one. You had to be on one of the other sides. Or where if you like Tupac, you hated Biggie. If you like Biggie, you hated Tupac. Michael Jordan, you said MJ. Michael Jordan versus LeBron. You know what I'm saying? There are things, and even though these things are not necessarily like the colorist things, but I want to show you how this is a constant tactic of white supremacy to constantly always ensure conflict in the community. It's always conflict in the community. And notice how this is engineered, because you never see them doing that with anybody else. You never see, and I just made a video about the Michael Jackson and Bad Bunny thing or whatever. You never see them like trying to pin up Oh, who did you like the best? Elvis Presley or the Beatles? Who did you like best between those? Like, you don't really see that going on. But they'll do that with us, and they do that with light skin and dark skin and stuff like that. And then they'll promote music videos or TV shows that show the negative stereotypes of the two. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll have the light-skinned girl be kind of goofy, kind of slow, little kind of goofy, and then the dark-skinned girl, she'll be kind of like ratchet. My grandma used to even tell me this. My grandma used to say she sees that in TV shows they like to make the dark-skinned girl fast. That's what they used to call it. That means like kind of promiscuous. But back when I was growing up, they used to call it fast. They didn't call it promiscuous. They used to call it fast. The girl was being fast. They would say that she like TV shows are always making dark-skinned girls fast. And if you go back to old TV shows, they do that. They used to do that all of the time. You know? And they would create this tension between those two. You know what I'm saying? This is why when we see certain things, like for instance, trends and stuff like that, we have to understand where that comes from. He says, the Malcolm/Martin argument was always used by, I don't want to even, because that word is becoming a flag word now, so we got to be careful when and where we use that word. The raccoons, okay, who either wanted to use Malcolm as a black supremacist or Martin as the alternative means of black empowerment, only promoting his I have a dream ideology. That's exactly correct. Because they made it seem like Malcolm was on some terrorist type stuff. They literally used to make Malcolm X seem like he was a damn terrorist. Okay? They used to make Martin Luther King, they said, well, Martin Luther King, remember, he had a dream. And they used to make Martin Luther King seem like a race blind man. They used to make him seem like, well, you know, he said he wanted whites and blacks to hold hands and be together. So if you, and they only do this when black folk call out racism. This would be their tactic to kind of suppress and temper the anger that black people would have. When black people called out racism, they'd be all like, well, Dr. King said that we shouldn't even recognize race. So for you to call out racism, you will have to recognize race. So you're going against Dr. King. They would do it like that. You know what I'm saying? And they would try to stereotype. They kind of not necessarily whitewashed Malcolm, but they made an alternative, like a variant of Malcolm, and they promoted that like, oh, this man, he's this radical he was kind of out there, kind of hated everybody and everything like that, and he was violent and everything, and he was a very disciplined and militant person. He was a very assertive person. We can all respect that, and that's all necessary. But that's how that's how they played it. And I'm glad we're over this now, but they used to get black people caught up. It used to get black people real caught up. Let me see. Another, CJ says, another example, check out these 4. It says, pick one of the 3. It says, their word goes forever. Denzel Washington versus Jamie Foxx, Wesley Snipes versus Eddie Murphy. They would do that with comedians too. Notice they don't do that with white actors. You don't see who's better, Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise. You don't see that. You don't see that. You don't see, who's better. Like I said, I don't know. Who's a white artist? Like a Ed Sheeran versus Henry Styles. You don't really see that. Who sings? You don't see that. You know what I'm saying? They try to suppress any and all conflict outside of their community. He says they still use MLK to this day, as we need to get back to a colorblind society. We were never colorblind. We were never colorblind. And even, to be very honest, even when Dr. King, I don't think was fully aware of the situation when he gave that speech, because he admitted that he regretted it. He admitted he regretted giving that "I Had a Dream" speech. He admitted that. Okay, he admitted his version was idealistic. He had a whole interview. He admit, and I think that's on my Instagram. I think he admitted that, and I think I put that on my Instagram if I'm not mistaken. But the thing is that, let me scroll through so I don't miss anything. The thing is that they keep playing, even when he did the "I Had a Dream" speech, even when Dr. King did that. Hold on, somebody's requesting to speak. Hold on. I'm going to get you right up, bro. I'm going to get you right up. Even when he did that, let me just finish this point. I'm going to bring you up. Even when he did that, he still understood, like, hey, we still got a racial problem. Dr. King was not on, no, he was never on a colorblind thing. He said he wanted to reach a point where everything was colorblind. And then later on in his life, he took that back. But even with the "I Had a Dream" thing, he was still calling out racism and police brutality and disproportionate disenfranchisement of black people. You know what I'm saying? So they have always tried to, ever since they assassinated him, they always tried to whitewash him, you know. Let me see. Are you still? Let me see. You still? Let me approve it. I thought did I approve you? Let's see. I think you got to hit it again. I'm trying to. I don't know. It is not. People who see this. I don't know. If you're still here, hit it again. I don't know. But this is what, yeah, the Abraham versus JFK. You don't really see that. You don't see them doing that. And they're doing this because they know this is going to start a thing within black society. This is going to, because a lot of black people have grown up, let's see, with certain triggers. I don't know why it's not letting me let you up. Let's see. It's not, I don't know why. It says you're unable to join. Maybe it's something on your phone. You're unable to join. But they're doing this because a lot of black people grew up, and we're recovering from this now. But certain things can re-traumatize a person. When you deal with people who have, to a degree, PTSD, and a lot of black people, specifically Foundation Black Americans in America, do. All right. When you're dealing with people who have that, like, for instance, if you ever go to like an old military thing where they still have traumas, even though they're going to therapy all the time, they still have trauma. So a lot of black people still might be traumatized from growing up and dealing with certain things like that. Did it let you up? I don't know. Hold on. It says I invited you. It says I invited you. I don't know.
Hey,
Oh, you're up.
how's it
Okay.
going?
Oh, what's up? How you doing?
I seen your dark skin versus light skin. You kind of talking about King now. But
Yeah. Okay, but did you want to make a comment? Did you want? I'm just really trying to show the way they always create conflict and stuff like that. But a lot of the comments, I'm just kind of responding to the comments, kind
You
of.
on that Anthony
But what do
stuff?
you have to say on the subject, though?
You remember Anthony? But
Unfortunately, I do. Unfortunately, I do.
That's always been used as something to divide us. Back when slaves were first free, and you ever heard of Freeman's Bureau? And they employed
Yeah.
these white teachers to teach African Americans. They would only
Mm-hmm.
have so much funds. They would distribute the funds more to the light-skinned people. They'd be discriminated against, and dark-skinned is seen as unintelligent. They didn't want to deal with them, the teachers. But as a black community, you need to stop doing that because it only creates conflict. And I get people be playing, but some people playing turns to seriousness, to memes. And I was just telling somebody when I was in San Francisco, yeah, like you light skinned, I'm dark skinned. Like it was a whole big thing. I'm like, that shit, that don't matter. We all black people, right?
Mhm.
Like,
See, and that's the thing. A lot of stuff we have to understand too. Like you said, a lot of the stuff that my teeth is not my, because I got these cameras, these lights. I mean, and the lights are colored, so the lights is coming off yellow. I'm like looking at my teeth, like, God damn. But look, um, a lot of stuff that we get into and we're going back and forth with and stuff like that, it comes off as jokes in the beginning. A lot of that stuff starts as a joke, but when the joke talks on a situation that's serious, then it starts to reignite certain conversations. You know what I'm saying? Because all this joke needs to do is those jokes it only takes one to kind of hit a nerve, and then that person making a tweet, and then that person making a tweet, and then this person is dissing this person dissing this person.
yeah,
That's literally all it would take.
it
Is
take one
one
joke.
joke to kind of be taken the wrong way,
Your
to
mama
kind of be
dark is
taken too
cold.
serious, or whatever the case is, and then next thing you know, it's another conflict, and they know that this is very deliberate. They know that.
Yeah, so that's something that they use to pit us against each other, and it's continue. It's very successful. The
Mm-hmm.
of other races, but yeah, it's stupid. I don't know. Even in other cultures, like if you're darker and light skinned, it's the same thing. It's like, oh, you're seen as good, you're seen as rich. You don't have to be in the sun. You know, you were a good, slave. You won't be a. I don't know. It's just always that connotation, but it only can take the wrong thing. Like you could say, James, your mama dark is cold, and like you were talking about somebody's mama. Now y'all about to be start fighting, and people
Yeah.
push that. They don't have a filter. You know, people just talk and talk. And the more you joke about it, the more, people get ammunition to reinforce black and darkness and memes and light skin. It's just more black
Mm-hmm.
stereotypes persisting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's why, like, certain things, like, for instance, and it's interesting you brought that thing up, like the whole your mama stuff. Folks be joking, when you joking about somebody mama, you gotta make sure you being careful with that, because you can easily, say something. If me and you joking back and forth and I say something, you're like, oh, okay, hold on. What you doing a little bit too much. If I say something about your family, it can re-trigger something, or it can make you feel some type of way. So when certain situations are very like sensitive, people take certain things kind of sensitive, and there's a sensitive topic, people know easily an argument can start with one of that. Easily, or especially when you're doing that in a competition sense.
They
So
basically
with the
trying to
whole light
instigate.
skin
Yeah.
versus dark skin, they
Oh
know that.
man.
They know, okay, the light skin girls are gonna be trying to beat the dark skin girls. The dark skin girls are gonna be trying to beat the light skin girls. So at the end, they're gonna be both jabbing at each other. They're gonna be both dissing each other. And then that's gonna make one person say something because she's trying to get the points. That's gonna make one person say something to one up the other person. Oh, so
Yeah.
you snap back at me, I gotta snap back harder at you.
Yeah, I
So
can let
then
you
now
go
I'm saying
crazy.
something that I'm trying to get, and I'm trying to use your skin tone to get under your skin. That's gonna be the thing,
Yeah.
you know.
And when they use that though, they's not necessarily they only use it like when their interest, like, oh, I don't like this person. Some people they just use that, oh, well, it's convenient for this argument. It ain't even gotta be about like your race or skin tone. But if you do bring
Mm-hmm.
it up in conversation, it's always gonna end up bad. It's an instigator. You basically saying like, let's start something, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I'll slap the hell of your light skin. Like you soft. Like I'm dark. You heard
Yeah.
what Drake said, but I don't know. I think that it's bad because it's making people, in Africa, they buy that skin cream and they try to
Yeah.
turn into Michael Jackson.
Yep.
But yeah, But all right, then I'm gonna let you get back to your live. Send me that Martin Luther King interview
Yeah,
about the
okay, yeah,
I
I'm gonna
Have a
send you the link
Dream.
to that. I think I
Uh,
got a clip of that. I think I got a clip, but I'm gonna send you the link to the
because
full
as
thing
I'm
on YouTube.
taking more classes in college, I'm like questioning the text of that speech. If you really analyze it and you study
Hmm.
race.
Yeah.
But all right, then. Bye.
All right, bye.
How you kick? Let me know. Yeah.
Let me see. I don't. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Okie doke. All right. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of get that out the way. I wasn't trying to be too long with this because I got some other videos I got to edit. But that was something that I really need the community to really understand, that this stuff is engineered. This stuff was not done by mistake. In that video, Nick Cannon said he wanted to see the conflict. That's why Nick Cannon wants to do BBLs versus skinny girls or slim girls or whatever, because he knows, and it's a reason to, and no diss to the sisters, we love you, but it's a reason to, it's all females with this. It's a reason for that. This is no diss, but let's get deep. The reason for that is because he knows there are certain things that a woman might take a little bit more personally, or a woman might be prone to being more sensitive to than a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, hair texture type thing. You know what I'm saying? I've seen this on Wild 'N Out. Oh, your nappy head. They'll say that to a man. You know what I'm saying? And men will more than likely. I'm not saying all, but they understand men are not as what's the word for it? Because I don't want to say affected. I want to say, in a joking sense, men are less likely to let that get under their skin than a woman would. And this is no diss, but this is deliberate. We have to understand this. So they'll understand, like, okay, so a joking thing, like the word emotional, exactly. So a joking thing, you'll joke about a man's hair being nappy, and the dude be like, you skinny and everything like that. To a woman, you joke about her hair being nappy, and she kind of took it some type of way. You know what I'm saying? So then that's why your baby daddy left you, and it turned into that. You know what I'm saying? With dudes, it don't tend to turn into that because we don't tend to let it really get under our skin. So this is why it's a lot of they want to do an all-female thing. Because they'll understand if you do, because most of the Wild 'N Out casts are male. So if you do a thing with the males, most of the males, they joke around and stuff like that. They shake up afterwards. They don't really feel no type of way afterwards in a lot of cases. But they know when it comes to some of the sisters, they know, like, okay, well, we'll do that. And even if you guys shake up afterwards, you still are probably going to feel some type of way. And even if you don't, the type of things that you will say is really going to start conflict within the community. They selectively, and we have to understand this, because this ain't a diss to the sisters, but we have to understand this because they use black women to do this. They use them. They will use black women's emotions and sensitivities to certain things to ignite conflict within the community. You know what I'm saying? So they'll have that, and then it'll be somebody say something about a dark-skinned woman or whatever the case may be, and then she feels some type of way, and not only does she feel some type of way, some of the dark-skinned women who are watching kind of feel some type of way, like, hey, where'd that come from? You know what I'm saying? So they're low-key offended. You know what I'm saying? And then they feel some type of way, and then they'll diss the light-skinned girls, and then the light-skinned women will feel some type of way. And then when the show is over, and this is their thing, when the show is all the way over with, then they're like, you know what, you still feeling some type of way. And they're doing that with women. They're using women's emotions against that to ignite the conflict back up, because they know what the males is going to be. Because as men, I'm going to be honest, as men, we be joking about each other all the time. That's especially as foundational Black American men. That's something we kind of grew up doing. Now, foundational Black American women do that too with women that they know personally. See, the thing is that the difference between men joking like that and women joking like that, when we go to a barber shop, we don't really got to know you that well to get a joke or two off. You know what I'm saying? As long as there's a decent level of rapport, we can do that without really feeling that type of way. Now, when it comes to the women, they can if they know you really, really well. When it comes to the sisters, you got to be like a sister or a cousin to kind of be joking that, like, to take it that way. Otherwise, they'll kind of get like, oh, okay, hold on. They'll start feeling some type of way. You know what I'm saying? So Nick Cannon knows that. You know what I'm saying? He knows that there's a lot of insecurities that are engineered. He knows that these women is not like they grew up, sisters will roast each other, whatever the case is, but these aren't sisters roasting each other. He knows that there's a level of sensitivity in females that are not in males. So by having an all-female cast trying to do like a roasting session, he knows what that's going to start up, not even among the cast, not only among the cast, but among the society as well, too. When you have the BBLs versus the skinny girls, you have a lot of women who have BBLs, and I'm not necessarily dissing BBLs or skinny girls, but you have a lot of women who have BBLs and who get them out of insecurity. And you have a lot of women who are skinny on the skinny side, on the slim side, who are insecure about that too. You know what I'm saying? And he knows it's a lot easier to get an emotional reaction out of picking on a woman's insecurities than it is a man. Even though some men, some brothers are insecure sometimes too. I'm not trying to say we're not, but he knows that. And it's my brother says is, well, notice, Afro, the subject of colorism itself almost always based around sisters. And that's true. That's true. That alone proves who is most impacts. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I've heard brothers, dark-skinned brothers, get joked on when I was younger and stuff like that. Light-skinned brothers get joked on and stuff like that. But it's a thing of it really doesn't get under our skin to the degree that it gets under the women's skin. And I'm not trying to compare our colorism versus their colorism, but I'm trying to let you know this is what they see and this is how they're moving. You know what I'm saying? So they know it's because I'm gonna be honest. If they did this, and this is how you know. This is how you know. If they did a light skin versus dark skin, and it's only black men. It's only black men. It's black brothers, black dark-skinned brothers, and then light-skinned brothers. First off, it would come off corny. The whole thing is corny. But even if it did, they know conflict wouldn't ensue as easily if it was that way versus if it was the sisters. They understand when it comes to the sisters are going to take just the whole subject of it a little bit more personal because of some of the things that they grew up with. Yeah, you say it would come off corny. it would come off so corny if it was light-skinned men versus dark-skinned men. It's just a team of light-skinned, a bunch of light-ass, a bunch of light-skinned niggas versus a bunch of dark-skinned niggas. It would come off very corny. But they know more than likely nothing would really ensue with that. But the women know. Oh, you can pick at her sensitivities, maybe some she went through with her childhood or a way she's treated in her family because of her skin tone or something like that. They know they can pick with that a lot easier than they'll be able to pick with the brothers. So they use women for that. They'll do that when it comes to body. Now you want to know when it comes to like body, what they call body shaming and all that stuff. They do that a lot. They ensue a lot of that division and conflict within the black community too. They do that a lot too. They'll have big thick girls versus small skinny girls or something like that, and then they'll be going back and forth. And both of them, because they know it's a lot of them be picking on insecurities and stuff. So they'll be going back and forth with insecurities and trying to dig at each other. You know how a fight can start. You might be just kind of, play fighting, or if you guys have ever boxed and you guys maybe have sparred before, and if you have brothers or cousins or whatever, let's be honest, especially as black men, let's be real. You grew up with like a cousin, a friend, a brother, or something like that, and y'all was play fighting or whatever the case is, and somebody hit somebody else a little bit too hard. That's how it starts. It always starts like that. Somebody would hit somebody else just a little bit too hard, and then you kind of like, okay, hold on now. And then you hit them harder because you got a little bit of anger in that punch or that kick or that blow. You got a little bit of anger in that. Even if the person accidentally didn't mean to hit you that hard, if they hit you that hard and it's kind of hurting a little bit, then your next blow is going to have some anger behind it. So when you hit them because you mad, that's going to make them hit you because they mad. Okay, I hurt you on accident and you hurt me on purpose. And then it's going back and forth like that. That's happened to me. I grew up with, I'm the oldest of my brothers. So that would happen to me. We'd be play fighting. They would kind of hit me a little hard, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm still I'm play fighting, right? And I push them with a little bit more energy, you know what I'm saying? So then they get up like, oh, what's up then? Like it turns into that real quick. See, men, it turn into that physically. With women, it won't turn into that physically. They be joking and stuff like that, and then they be all like, yeah, that's why your hair is short. And women, they're gloves off now. They see with women, it's not the physical stuff. Women, you will say something about, yeah, that's why your leave out, your wig look cheap. Your edges, you don't got no edges. A woman, that's like to a man, that's like a hit. Somebody hit you in the stomach a little bit too hard. To a woman, it's like, oh, you talking about my edges? The women that get like that. No diss. I mean, we different. No diss. But women that get like, and they know that. They know that. So that's why they do that. That's exactly why they do that. Because they know the sisters, they'll take the beef on another level or whatever the case is. While men will physically get into something, and women are like you said, psychologically do something. They'll have an issue like that way. They'll take the insult, like you said, more personal. They'll take the insult more personal. This is why I said earlier that women can, to a degree, joke at each other. I see my mama and my auntie do it and stuff like that. My sisters, they do it. But only if you don't see it as common, because women don't do it like how a brother can do it. We just meet somebody a few times, we get a little bit of rapport with them, and next thing you know, we kind of joking, man. I see your hairline kind of going back there. We kind of joking, and like, ha, whatever. You kind of getting fat. We can joke like that. It don't take too much for us to get like that, because we don't have, our skin is a little thicker. With women got to know each other really well before they start joking on each other. Otherwise, it's personal, real easy. It will be personal, real. And even when the women know each other, even when they sisters and stuff like that, a joke can easily be like, oh, what that mean? Like it'll turn into that. And they know that. It is very deliberate. It says, you're right, because my mom and sister can only do that for so long. Then they start, oh yeah, see? And that's just like with the blow thing. Because what happens is, I use you as an example. Your mom and your sister, they in the living room, in the kitchen, something like that, they joking back and forth, and then somebody say something that low-key pissed the other person off. Now, the other person don't want to act triggered, so they kind of fire back with a little more heat. And then all that does is intensify the back and forth. And then now it's serious. Y'all was sparring and jabbing at first, shadow boxing at first. Now gloves is off. Y'all brawling. Metaphorically, that's what that turns into with women.
Women do that for the little short thing. With sisters really don't get down like that. You know what I'm saying? Sisters, yeah, they don't, and that's why he picked women for it. That's why he picked women for it. But this is something we got to understand that they do. This is something we have to understand that they do. All right? In the community. They do this because they want to ensue conflict in the community. They want to ensue conflict in the community. So they're going to set this up because they know that. They know how women are going to do. They know how women are going to respond. They know that. And it's more than just the women on the stage. It's the women in the community. Okay? Because then you're going to make a girl on Twitter say something like, hey, I took that joke a little bit personal. And then there's going to be people like, oh, shut up. Oh, leave it alone. It was just a joke. You know what I'm saying? And then it's going to be, oh, y'all always dismissing colorism. Y'all always acting like colorism don't exist. And then I'm literally seeing it. If the community didn't call it out, I'm literally seeing that. And you're right. Nick actually did address colorism. He addressed colorism before in an interview he did, which is why I'm very disappointed in him for doing this. Because how are you going to say colorism is a problem in the black community and then try to work your way out of colorism and then like try to, because really only through consciousness and everything like that can you kind of see without the veil of that, because it is a derivative of white supremacy. So when you're trying to talk against colorism, how are you going to do something that is quite literally going to promote colorism? That's quite literally what's in the flyer. Yeah. Yeah, the body shaming thing too. And a lot of the sisters to do that. And that's something I think, and then I was scrolling through their thing, they had a thing with BBW women versus slim women, or whatever the case is. Because they know a lot of BBW women, and I ain't trying to body shame or beat up on nobody, but they understand a lot of BBW women have insecurities. They have insecurities because of their weight. And a lot of slim women have insecurities because of their weight too. You know, so the BBW women gonna pick on the slim women's insecurities, and the slim woman is gonna pick on the BBW woman's insecurities. And then that's gonna create conflict too. So we have to be aware this is what they do. This is what they do. And I'm very disappointed at Nick Cannon specifically for promoting this type of degeneracy, because that's what it is, and this potential conflict, this colorism war he's trying to fire back up again. I'm very disappointed in him. All that fake consciousness was for what? If you're going to start the problem again, if that's the case, if you want to leave consciousness, fine, leave it all alone. Now don't start the problem. Don't start the problem. And y'all sitting up there trying to profit off the problem. Y'all trying to profit, and that's one thing too. We got a lot of, and we're gonna have to start calling this out. This might be a whole nother conversation. We got a lot when it comes to our community, and I'm specifically talking about FBAs. We got a lot of people who like conflict. We got a lot of people who like to have issues and drama going on for entertainment value. We do. We got a lot of people who will do things. They'll do certain trends. They'll start certain trends. They'll make certain trends. They'll participate and they'll promote certain things that they know will cause conflict in the community because they want attention or they just want to see drama. Okay? We got a lot of that stuff. There was a thing when TikTok was, I guess, first starting to become a thing. There was a thing, I don't know if you guys see, it was super, super viral. It was a thing where it was like a this versus that. And everybody would have to run to a side. So if they all like, what do you want for dinner? Pizza, tacos, and then everybody would want to the taco side or the pizza side, whatever side you want it, right? My flag is waving because my heat is on and the vent is blowing. There was one trend, right, where it was a bunch of black dudes doing this for attention, all right, in clout. It was white girls versus black girls, and all of the black dudes went to the white girl side, and they did it for attention, and that stirred something up in the community. Their thing went super viral because they wanted attention. And then it was, oh, black men don't like black girls, and y'all always choose a white girl, and then it became that. It became that. You know what I'm saying? There are people who do things like that because they want attention. They want to get monetized. So they know if I say this, and I know how sensitive the community is on this subject. They know it's like for lack of a better word, a PTSD type of trigger for the black community. They'll be all like, I really don't like the 4C hair. No disrespect, but that stuff is ugly. They know stuff like that will start picking up traction in the community. They know that type of stuff will get a lot of interaction because that tends to trigger certain people's feelings. So certain people gonna be dissing that, and they know, okay, well my profile gonna blow up. No matter what you say, my profile gonna blow up. There are people who will say they'll say Sambo type stuff, and they know their profile will blow up because of that. They know they can get monetization off of YouTube clicks or whatever the clips because of that. So that's what Nick Cannon is doing. He knows the community is sensitive on this subject. Yeah, I did. I caught myself. He knows the community is sensitive on this subject specifically. Very, very sensitive on it. In my personal opinion, we got what they say like featureism, texturism, colorism. You know what I'm saying? The texture be like the texture of your hair, features like the size of your lips and nose and stuff like that. And then colorism. If you ask me, colorism is the most severe of those derivatives, because all of those are derivatives. But colorism is the most severe and impactful of those derivatives. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to pick the most impactful and severe derivative to ignite conflict so you can get your network up, so you can get your views up, so you can get your numbers up. All right? So you essentially... you're preying on certain weaknesses that you feel like the black community has. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're right. We got a lot of isms. We do have a lot of isms. And they all start with PC. They do, yeah. They're all derivatives of it. They're all bastards of it. So, and this is from, my research and my what I've seen growing up. I'm not going to say this based off of like a study or anything because I don't have it, but colorism is of the isms since under the derivative, it is the most severe of that. You know what I'm saying? And it has traumatized a lot of black people. So you're going to use that. So it is a shame. It is a shame on Nick Cannon for co-signing that. Let me see. It says, like I said, colorism is self-hate repurposed. Yeah, that's true. It's been called an ism in order to make it a false equivalent to racism. Exactly. See, the thing is that what people need to understand, when you really understand, and Neely Fuller Jr. talks about this, when you understand white supremacy, everything else will start to make sense. You'll be able to connect the dots, or whatever the case is. You'll be able to connect the dots. I'm going to say, my sisters. I have a dark-skinned sister and I have a light-skinned sister. Both sisters, same, and they got different hair textures too. The dark-skinned sister has a looser texture of hair than the light-skinned sister. Now, a lot of people will assume that lighter skin, like the stereotype, you got lighter skin, you got quote unquote good hair, or whatever the case is, because you're closer to whiteness. But that's not always the case. But what I'm saying that to say is that neither of them are more black than the other one. My dark-skinned sister is not any more or less black than my light-skinned sister is. They come from the same mother and father. You know what I'm saying? Or just because one's hair is a little bit more coiled than the other one doesn't make one of them more or less black than the other one. You know what I'm saying? So naturally, we're just very diverse as a people. Our genes are very diverse as a people. We have a lot of, and of course we know this, as that we got a lot of family members. We got light-skinned people in our family. Sometimes we got freckles in the family. Sometimes I got people in my family that grow red beards. Their beards are red. Okay? So we have black people who got red hair. I literally got black family that got red hair. We are very diverse people. You know what I'm saying? And what they have done, the system of white supremacy, what it has done is it has used our diversity as a way to kind of section us off to each other. Because it's not as if light-skinned people don't face racism, or people who have 3C or whatever type of hair don't face racism, or people who have a skinny or slimmer nose or lips don't face racism. It's not like that. Malcolm X had red hair. Exactly, Malcolm X had red hair. That's a good point. It's not like they don't face racism, but what they'll do is psychologically they'll make you think that puts you the way you appear, your appearance puts you in a different class. You know what I'm saying? Now, I am going to say they do look at anything closer to darker skin, anything closer, the more black you are, the more like cringe they are to it. So I will admit that. I'm not dismissing that. I will admit that. But in the community's sake, the community, we have not really seen that. You know what I'm saying? In the community, like for instance, what they'll do is they'll say things like, even going all the way back to slavery, that's how deep this goes. Going all the way back to slavery, they'll say things like, well, they had the dark-skinned people working out in the field, and then they had the light-skinned people in the house. So the light-skinned people will be in the house, and the dark-skinned people will be out in the field. Sometimes, but not all the time. That wasn't the case all the time. Have you guys seen the movie Django? It would be it depends. It would be sometimes there would be dark-skinned folk in the house, light-skinned folk out in the field, and all of that stuff. What they did with that narrative, what they would do with that is they would make it seem like, see, light skins always had it so much better. There's always been this preferential treatment. And the thing is that they never really cared. And this is something that I talk about on YouTube. To them, in their mind, you're either a Negro or you're not a Negro. You are either black or you're not black. They don't really care like that. Now, how does colorism play into that? Now they do have a disdain of the visual of blackness. So any person who comes off visually blacker, they'll have a stronger disdain for it. But it's not as if we don't pick on light skin versus dark skin. They'll do that to manipulate black people into thinking that there is some type of difference, that there is some type of different class, to section us off psychologically from each other. You know what I'm saying? So when you see, propaganda on television and everything like that, you're more susceptible to believe that. you're more susceptible to believe that this is how society works. You know what I'm saying? Because they let you think that that's how it works. Now they don't like, now it to a degree is true. So that's why there's a nuance between it, right? It's a nuance because to a degree it is true. They do have a stronger disdain for the image of blackness. That's why they don't like darker skinned folk more. They have a very bad thing for darker skin or coarser hair. You know what I'm saying? Or more black features, facial features, right? But this gets black people tripped up because a lot of black people think that if their hair is a different shade, if their hair is a different texture, or if their nose is a little slim, if they can pass to a degree, if they can pass, they won't be treated as black. I'm gonna use the situation with Meghan Markle. Remember, Meghan Markle was talking about they up in there in the what's that called, the royal castle, the royal family or something, right? They calling her the N-word. Now, Meghan Markle, what a lot of people don't know, Meghan Markle got a surgery because I think her father is white. One of her parents are white. She got a surgery to make herself look more white. She got a facial surgery to make herself look more white. She keeps her hair straight to make herself appear more white. And she's still getting called the N-word by the royal family. So to them, you can be light-skinned, you can be passing, whatever. You're still a black person to me. Yeah, she got a face. You can Google it. She had a facial surgery to look more white. So they do stuff like that to make you think that there's some type of different treatment to create conflict in the community, when at the end of the day, all of us are going to be treated like a nigga. All of us. We all niggas to them. We all niggas to them. But they like to see us fight about it. They want us to fight about it. They want us to have conflict about it. But we all niggas to them. And this is why we cannot allow the promotion. I thought Instagram only allowed you to do an hour. I'm on here for almost an hour and a half. That just be going on. We all niggas to them. You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand that. So when we see stuff like this, we all like, oh, why are you trying to divide blackness? That's the same energy of dividing a black man and a black woman. There are different experiences. There are different lived experiences between black men and black women just because we're men and women. However, we're still black. We're still black. So why would you try to section off a black man's experience from a black woman's experience when we're all still black? And we all still go through the black experience. It says, the messed up part about it is they were worried about the baby who is dark even more, being too dark. Yeah. When she was pregnant, he makes a good point. When she was pregnant, they were sitting up there like, man, how dark. Now the husband in Meghan Markle's situation is what he's talking about. The husband is white as hell, and she's like mulatto. So you can imagine the baby wouldn't probably look that black at all. But see, that's that little bit of the hair kinks up a little bit. It kinks up a little bit too much for their taste. His nose is a little bit too wide for their taste. They don't like none of that. They don't like a part of being in the royal family. No, no, they're not tolerating that. When she was pregnant, they are like, oh no, she got to go. Oh, she got to go. She says, so he's white. He's wearing black. If he wore blackface, I'd like for you to send that to me. I'm not aware of him wearing blackface. I haven't been aware. Now, I wouldn't say I'm surprised, though. Because in my opinion, and I said this before, I think that, what's his name? Prince, his name is Henry, ain't it? I think he married Meghan Markle to get back at his family. That's my personal opinion. I think because of a situation with his mother, he married Meghan Markle to get back at his family. Because he knows his family is racist. Prince Harry. He knows his family is racist, and he married Meghan Markle to get, that's what I think. Because why wouldn't you just, out of all the white women you could have picked, why would you pick a woman who's not white to them? Why would you pick a woman who is a Negro? Because she being treated like a Negro. Why would you pick her? He did that to get back at his family because his mother, allegedly, her death was mysterious. And even Prince Harry said he believes there was suspicious behavior behind his mother's death. So that's what I think. So it's not like I just love this woman so much and I want her to be a part of my family so badly. You know what I'm saying? I want to marry her or whatever the case is. It says, I didn't hear about Prince Harry doing a blackface, but I did hear about him doing a Nazi. He did a Nazi cosplay. Really? You know what? I'm not even surprised. I'm not surprised he did that. I'm not surprised. But this goes to show with Meghan Markle, this goes to show you thinking that you can change your nose and straighten your hair. You thinking you can cosplay. You can't cosplay into whiteness. Oh, no, they don't let you do that. They don't let you do that. You can't cosplay into whiteness. You think you can pass for white? Now, your husband sitting up there in a Nazi costume or a Nazi cosplay or whatever the case is, and you gonna marry this man, then this is what you get. You married into a family and you had your husband in that's what you should have known. You should have known better. You think you're gonna be a little princess? You should have known. This is why I'm gonna be honest. It might seem mean. When it comes to like the bed wench and the bed buck stories, their horror stories. Oh my God, the dad was racist the whole time. He called me the N-word. I don't feel nothing. That seem mean, but I don't feel nothing. I'm like Torian Rain. I feel nothing. Shout out to our brother Torian. I don't feel nothing because you should know. That's like, do you see those videos of them white people playing with alligators and then the alligator bite their hand off? I don't feel no type of way. Why would you play with an alligator? You be seeing white folks be playing with lions and then the lion bite a chunk out their ass. That's lying. What are you doing? I don't play with nothing that can eat me, personally. I don't care how much you raised it. This is a friendly wolf. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. Anything I know could eat me, I'm not playing with. I'm not trying to swim. They're like, yeah, I want to swim with sharks. Okay, go ahead. You swim with sharks, and then that's your last time swimming. I can't feel that bad for you. I don't be doing that. So you marry somebody in the dominant society, and then it turns out, oh, they're racist. They have a Confederate. What'd you think? What did you think? I can't feel no type of way. I don't feel no type of way. I'm sorry. Yeah, look, they be saying that though. That's a friendly wolf. I known him since he was just a little cub. I known him since he wouldn't hurt a fly. He's nope. Nope, I'm cool. I'll be like that around other people's dogs. When a dog is too big, sometimes when they have a pit bull, and be like, he is the friendliest pit bull ever. I'm like, all right. I'm eyeing that pit bull and no, I'm cool. A wolf, you will see white people sitting up there and they'll be kissing wolves in the mouth. First off, it's nasty. That's very nasty. Okay, it's very nasty. But that's a wolf. That's not even a dog. That's a wolf. You know what I'm saying? They'll be sitting up there like I seen zoo things and they be all like, oh my God, and they'll have a tiger hug them. Man, There's not enough money in the world you can get me to hug a tiger. And the tiger's, you know how tall tigers are? I know I'm getting off subject. But y'all know how tall tigers are if they stand up on their own 2 feet, how tall they are, how much bigger they are. And they'll be like, oh, you big cuddly little tiger. No. Let that tiger skip lunch one time. And you coming in there, it's a hot day. And you've been roasting in the sun. And your skin looking all crispy. No. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. I'm cool. And when you get bit, it's the same with Meghan Markle. You should have known better. Now you sitting up there, you and your baby got to run around and hide and being hiding. Now, if you married a black man, it wouldn't happen, but you didn't, so that's what you get. Yeah. Then they act like they get mad at the tiger, want to put the tiger down. If y'all should have left the tiger alone, the tiger wouldn't be biting y'all. Y'all sitting there playing with the tiger like the tiger is some big domesticated animal. You cannot domesticate no tiger or no bear. Oh, yeah. I'm sitting there, now we talk about killer animals. Oh. People be owning wolf dogs and shit. I'm cool. Nah. Even when you see those, I don't know if y'all seen those videos about cave crawling, where white folks be going into caves and they just like crawl. It's like the smallest little room and they just be crawling and inching in caves. I couldn't do that. No, I couldn't do that. Be like, this is fun, man. And they're like, I can barely breathe because they're like compressed in the cave. I can barely breathe. I just got this little. I can just inch myself forward. I'm going to go down to the. White people are just doing too much. I'm like, no, I'm cool. I could never be doing that. Just crawling in a cave. That don't seem fun to me. I don't know what y'all be on. I could never crawl in no damn cave. I know we off subject. But Lord, I can never do that. See, I'm sitting up there chopping it up with y'all. I told myself I was only gonna be here for an hour. It's like an hour and a half. All right, y'all. But to circle back to what we was talking about, let's regroup. To circle back to what we was talking about. Those type of things are engineered. The light skin versus dark skin stuff that Nick Cannon is promoting, that type of stuff is engineered. It's engineered. All right. So we got to call that out when we see it. Because if we don't call it out as conscious black folk, then the unconscious black people who might not be, and no diss, but might not be on the level of consciousness that we are, they're going to take it and they're going to feel some type of way about it because they're not going to have that consciousness that's going to kind of filter their emotions. You know what I'm saying? Because when you have a level of consciousness, it automatically gives you a filter for your emotions when you see certain things. Right. So with a person who doesn't have that level of consciousness, they're not going to have that filter. And it also gives you a thicker skin. They're not going to have that thick skin. They're going to be more easily re-traumatized by certain things, right? So this is why it's good to have consciousness, and it's good to call that stuff out, because that stuff is going to cause a lot of infighting again. This is why anytime you see a TV show or something like that, like the Tyler Perry movies used to do, they'll paint a black woman versus black man type narrative in a lot of the Tyler Perry movies or in a lot of different TV shows. You know what I'm saying? And we would call that stuff out because we know what you call entertainment is going to ensue in the community. And that's going to simmer in the subconscious of a lot of black people. And that's going to create a lot of conflict. So we don't want that. So what we want to do is call that stuff out, because we don't even want to let it simmer. The second we see it, we call it out. We call it out immediately the second we see it. So it's good that we're doing that. Now, they changed the thing between light skin versus dark skin to chocolate goddess versus caramel goddess. I think they're trying to flatter the women or something like that. That stuff needs to be called out. That stuff needs to be called out. And we need to be keeping a closer eye on stuff like that too. You know, so it's good that we're doing this as a community. I still got some videos to edit, some work to do, so I'm going to get back to work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to find a way to put this up on YouTube, because there's some people who follow me on YouTube, they don't follow me on this. So, but I think I can save, I don't know if I can save this. I think I can. I don't know. I'm going to try to. I'm going to try to save this. It says like Aliza Banks. They talked about her so bad, and it was sad. Yeah, they do. They do. And it was sad. Okay. We got to stop that type of stuff from happening. We have a new generation of children that we have to protect. And by protecting them, that means that the stuff that we went through, we want to make sure they don't have to go through that. This is why we're fighting for economic empowerment and stuff like that, and resources. So all of the I can't even speak. All of the deprivation of resources that we had growing up, we don't want our kids and our grandkids to have to go through that. This is how we protect them, by setting them up in a better way than we were set up. We don't want them to go through the whole getting made fun of because they light skin, or getting made fun of because they dark skin, or got coarse hair or big lips or anything. We don't want them to go through the stuff that we went through, right? So that's our way of protecting them. So when we see stuff like this that's going to ignite the community to have the conflict again, we got to call that out. Okay? So with that being said, shout out to everybody who is still in here. I think we had a pretty productive conversation. Shout out to everybody who was who came through. Shout out to all of y'all who came through. I appreciate every single last one of you guys. I do got to get back to work. It says I'm working on my comic and media platforms. See, exactly. And that's King Cool. This is why we need our own platforms. See, no, let me not, because I'm going to be here for another 20 minutes. Let me not. But we need our own stuff. Because we can have a wilding out, and that can be good. We can have a wilding out, and that can be good. But the thing is that when you let them control it, they'll turn the wilding out into a light skin versus dark skin thing, and it ruins the whole thing. Anything that happens that can be like, okay, this is good little competition, they find a way to ruin it. That's why we need to start our own stuff. But that can be another conversation, because I've been on here for like an hour and 30 minutes. You'll do a commentary on your on this subject. Send that to me when you get it done. Send that to me when you get it done, brother. But I'm going to get off here. You all have a good night.